One Democratic lawmaker is coming forward with an extraordinary allegation about Donald Trump's relationship with the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia. Congressman Eugene Vindman worked as a national security staffer during Trump's first term, and last night on the floor of the House, he made an explosive claim about a phone call between Trump and the Crown Prince during Trump's first term.
After the murder of journalist Jamal Khashoggi, I reviewed a call between the president and the Saudi Crown Prince. The American people and the Khashoggi family deserve to know what was said on that call. If history is any guide, the receipts will be shocking.
Joining us now is Congressman Eugene Vindman, a Democrat from Virginia and former career national security staffer in the first Trump White House. He knows what to call out when it doesn't feel on the level, as my mother would say. So you talked about this on the House floor last night. I know you have limitations on what you can describe because this call is still classified at this point. What can you tell us about this call?
Well, look, this was a call that took place with MBS Mohammed bin Salman, the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, after the brutal murder of Jamal Khashoggi, who was a Washington Post reporter, a legal resident of Virginia. And the president called Mohammed bin Salman, and obviously my interpretation of that call, there were two calls that were particularly concerning from the first Trump administration. And one of them was the Ukraine call, and as we all know, that resulted in President Trump's impeachment. And this one, in my opinion, was as shocking as that.
And you said that, I heard you say earlier today that the family deserves to know what was on that call. Of course they do. Any details? Does that mean there's more details about the events around his murder on the call? Or is it more about Trump's acknowledgement of what actually happened that his intel community concluded?
Well, look, what the president said in the meeting with MBS in the White House is completely counterfactual. It's contrary to the reports of the intel community that determined with high confidence that this was an order of a kill or capture of Jamal Khashoggi. And there has never really been a real accountability for this. And so the widow deserves accountability, and the American people deserve transparency.
There was a whole pressure campaign that led to the release of the call transcript with Zelensky. It doesn't seem like the White House is going to hand this over. Is the plan here a pressure campaign to kind of force them to release it?
Look, the president invited MBS to the White House, gave him a very warm reception. And we have to deal with foreign leaders, sometimes unsavory leaders, all the time. What we can't do is engage in whitewashing and cover up for brutal humanitarian abuses. And so I think what we need to do is ensure that the spotlight remains on, frankly, what is shocking conduct. We know that the president went in 2020 and told Bob Woodward that he saved MBS's ass. That was the terminology that he used. And so there's a quid somewhere there. And then in your previous segment, you talked about all of the benefits that the president and his family have reaped over the years. I mean, that sounds like a quote to me as well.
Yeah, I think that's a big part of it. Follow the money, and there's lots of money the Trump family is making in Saudi Arabia. It's significant that you've gone public with the existence of the transcript and the fact that you reviewed it. And you also, as a member of Congress, you've been using the speech and debate clause to speak more freely than you normally could. What stops you from telling everybody what's in there?
Well, look, the president had a conversation with another foreign leader. That document remains classified. The president released a document, a similar document with another foreign leader that was obviously not perfect in any sense. And he can do the same thing. He can be transparent. If the president has nothing to hide in this context, he can release that, and the American people can decide for themselves if there's something wrong.
Yeah, they can read it. Have you gotten any response from the White House?
There was a response from the White House, and I've taken incoming from lackeys from the White House many times before.
What'd they say?
They called me some sort of disgruntled backbencher. You know, none of that is meaningful. The fact that they're responding means that this is something that they're concerned about, and they ought to be, because the widow is demanding answers. Yeah. I think Congress will be demanding answers in the coming weeks, and there needs to be transparency.
And watching the last 2 days raises more questions as well. Thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate it.